Yesterday, London played Niagara, and Niagara by 9. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the floor, your Windsor Express. In the world of sports, we have all come to understand winning and losing. But the loss of life, we may never understand. When teams travel from arena to arena, there is always the possibility of tragedy. Last Friday in rural Saskatchewan, the Humboldt Broncos experienced exactly that. 15 people lost their lives in a terrible bus accident. And the sports world has come together in solidarity to show support for the victims and their families. The NBL and the Windsor Express asked for a moment of silence, followed by 15 buzzers to remember those that lost their lives while pursuing the dream of sport. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise if you aren't already and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem. Tonight's national anthem will be performed by Benjamin.com. Joining Benjamin at center court carrying the Canadian flag is Stan Potvin, who is our father of the game. The Windsor Express and Curtis J.K. Pregame would like to acknowledge and show our appreciation to our dedicated fathers all season long by highlighting someone new each game, thanks to Stan and Curtis J.K. Printing. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Thank you, Benjamin, for coming today.
A heartwarming tribute to the Holbrook Broncos and the singing of our national anthem. We thank you for your patience. We thank you for tuning in here on Knockstrom TV. Game 3 of the best of 5 NBL Canada playoff series between the St. John's Edge and the Windsor Express, as we welcome you back here up in the media booth. Aaron Sanders and JP, Justin Prince. 4 words has basically been a testament to elimination games, JP, and for the Windsor Express, they're going to feel those 4 words today: win or go home.
They have to win, and they have to do it for sure. They got to clean up any mistakes they have been making throughout this entire series, or else they are going to end things off early. They got to do it and do it fast. They've been very competitive in this series so far. What worked in game 1 did not work as much, of course, in game number 2. So basically, in this situation, you got to make sure you keep up with the offense, because for both teams, looking at the field goal percentages, they've been fairly relative, especially in game number 2. They were both at about the 46-47% range, for example. But again, I'll repeat this one more time. Physicality has been also the name of the game of this series. So you gotta get away to make sure you win that battle down low. Get the plays down in the post. Get that penetration offense together and pull on away, or else you are going to be down in this one early on. It's going to be about setting the tempo in the first few minutes, I think, for game number 3 for sure.
Crowd's ready for this one. I hope you are too. And as always, glad you're joining us here. We're moments away from tip-off, the only game in town here on this Wednesday evening. This is going to be an interesting one to say the least. St. John's Edge, they won the season series against the Windsor Express 5-3, and the Windsor Express have won 1 game against them in this very house. Tip-off is controlled by the Express, and we are underway here. And Windsor Express Playoffs on Knockstrom TV is proudly presented by Central Park Athletics. We get underway. Chad Frazier fires it up. Turn away jumper. Good.
And a nice beauty fadeaway jump shot there to get it off the rim. Somebody that is able to make those kind of moves, and they need him to step up in this kind of a game. Good shot to start things off in the first attempt.
Here's Charles Hinkle looking for Carl English, but he gets flustered, and the Windsor Express will get the ball back. And we see immediately, JP, in the mid-range, a lot of defensive coverage right there, which flustered Carl English and Charles Hinkle from getting that pass off.
Yes, of course, both of them, both dangerous scores to deal with for sure in the regular season, and so far as well here in these playoffs. That's also going to be part of their key. Keep them at bay as Frazier misses the shot over English.
Frazier misses it on the rebound as Desmond Lee. Remember, he got a double-double Sunday afternoon. Here's English working the room, gets the hand back right on the left side. Harris tried to fight for it. It will go Express ball. Now again, from up here, it looked like a different view. I thought DeMontre Harris touched it last, but you know what? Kudos to him for applying that pressure immediately on Carl English.
Yeah, and again, I think that shows how things have been in the series. Lots of defensive pressure coming from Windsor early, trying to force turnovers early on, and so far it's been working well. 2 turnovers in 2 possessions.
Jones right on the left side. He'll try to make wonders down at the wing. One-on-one against Hinkle. Drives inside with the spin move. Flashes it right over the key. Fires a three from the parking lot. It's no good. Back tap the rebound by Frazier. So in the early going to this game, the Windsor Express really getting the edges number, but anything else could happen here. Keith finding Stutz. Shot's no good, and the rebound by English. English finding Ryan Reed. Misses the shot, and right on the board is Frazier. Keith down at the corner. Finds an open Stutz, who finds Demontre Harris on the other hand. Reverse, no good. Gets his own rebound. Second chance, nothing doing.
An absolute hustle for the rebound there by Lee. Already has a couple in the first few minutes of this. And that's the kind of hustle you need in a big-time elimination game like this.
See Jaron Skeet with a handoff to English. 9 on the shot clock. He goes to work, try to cut through, and we'll have kickball.
Yeah, and you're seeing here, Aaron, I don't think they want to leave any space to breathe for English or Hinkle to get on the score sheet. Because like you mentioned, in game number 1, Hinkle got under 30 points, English 23, Hinkle at 14 in game number 2, English 28. So they don't want to leave anything for chance here in case both of them go off.
Quick shot from the corner, doesn't fall. Here comes Keith. Windsor Express on the move. They're up 2-0 in the early goings of the first quarter. Keith trying to drive inside, kisses it off the glass, and heartbreak city for him.
You have to make those kind of layups right now. Just a little bit too strong on that.
And Skeet misses the jumper, and right on the re is Stutz. Here comes Maurice Jones on the charge. Looking for an opening, finds Keith. Down low to Stutz. Stutz gets it poked away, but before that, a foul's called. So once again, the Windsor Express really have to realize that they have to finish every shot, JP. I mean, you got to appreciate them going down to the heart of the edge defense. But again, they're not getting those shots to fall.
Yeah, they aren't right now. They're in the 14% range as the only team to make a field goal in the first 3 minutes.
And then Jones pops up the three, no good.
And again, they got to calm down, keep it composed. A lot of two strong shots here in the first couple minutes. That was another example right there of putting too much oomph on that jump shot.
Carl English catch and shoot, it doesn't go. The Windsor Express also, if it comes to a fouling situation, you do not want them at the free throw line for our viewers at home. Number 1 when it comes to the free throw line, but we'll get to that later on. Good high-low pass inside the Stutz, and that's how you complete a play like that.
Beautiful ball movement to be able to stretch the floor, set it up inside the paint, and exactly what you need to see as a whistle's called in the battle in the high post.
Too much aggression from Demontre Harris. He'll get called for putting his hands right inside the cookie jar. Referees caught him, so they caught him red-handed. So St. John's will inbound it from the sideline with 17 seconds to deal with on the shot clock. Reed on the immediate handoff to Skeet. Coming for the pick is Hinkle. Skeet with another handoff. Down to 5. Lee with behind the back. And the Hinkle, he's got to put it up, and he does. And he doesn't bury it. And the rebound, Harris.
This is just absolutely ugly shooting right now. They've been getting some decent quality shots, the Edge have, but 0 for 5 to start. They got to find something different to get a shot to go in at this point.
Jones can't get the shot to go. He wanted contact, but they'll play on. Here's Hinkle with the step-back J from 15, and he goes.
Finally able to break the lid on what has been horrendous shooting, to say the least. 4-2 in the first 4.5 minutes. Somebody needs to shout in someone's face, wake up on both of these offenses right now, because this has been an absolute struggle.
They better wake up. They are playing at nighttime, and no shot right there for Shaq Keith. Hits off the board. Once again, dismissal shooting from both of these clubs as it's 4-2 with 7:10 remaining in the opening quarter. Reed with the ball right inside. He goes to work himself, puts it up and in, kisses it off the glass and says goodnight.
Yeah, nice pump fake there, because he's seen that Harris was ready to commit for the block, so he stopped a little bit, able to do a light pump fake, lifts it up with the right hand, able to get it on over the block attempt on the overcommit from Harris as he's down low.
Inside to Harris, shot's no good. Try to go for a second chance, can't control it, but they'll have another chance regardless. But JP, when you see a big guy like DeMontre Harris, you know one thing is important. You got to get inside his face or else he will take things over. And right there, down Charles Hinkle doing what he can to stop him.
Exactly. He's someone that can get a lot of offensive rebounds for you, able to get some decent tap outs, and it's someone also who can be able to throw it down with authority if you give him open space down low. You don't want to give him enough separation like Marcus.
And there's Maurice Jones, knocks down the first three of the game. And it's 7-4. Meanwhile, Grandy Glaze is in the game for the St. John's Edge. He has become a thorn on the Windsor Express side in the past 2 games. Here's Lee finding an opening. He brings it right back up top. He's plotting his plans right inside the Glaze. High-low pass inside to Hinkle, puts it up and in.
Yeah, just able to get enough separation away from Stutz to be able to drive inside the basket for the easy 2.
Stutz fakes the 3, goes inside to drive, finger roll, up and in.
And while there may be some weaknesses, of course, with Stutz on the defensive side, the strengths are on the offensive side, of course, for the former MVP. Someone who can cut inside and be very effective in the low post.
And here's a little dribble right there. Karan Williams tried to go down, foul is called. Karan Williams about to go to the line. Braylon Racing is about to check in here too. And this is where the bench really pay extreme dividends, as we'll have a media timeout. Media timeout on the floor here. The score is 9-6 in favor of the Express. Game 3 of the NBL Canada playoffs is brought to you by Central Park Athletics here on Knoxstrom TV.
Office.
9-6 is the score halfway through the first quarter here. And JP, even we said this off the air following the media timeout, you know, it would be a disservice to see both of these clubs score under their average, let alone score under 80 points by the end of this night.
Yeah, looking at the averages in this one, coming in out of the regular season, Windsor was averaging just under 107, 106.9, and then the Edge, of course, was under 108, 107.9. That is, of course, according to NBLC's weekly reports. These two teams are both really struggling for the field, for teams that, of course, during the regular season shot about 38% as a unit to 35%. Pardon me, those are the three-point percentage. 45% for Windsor, 46 I should say, and 46 even for the Edge. Both of them have to just absolutely wake up, because this is an elimination game. Wake up on offense, guys.
And they're going to wake up on defense. Charles Hinkle on the swap. Meanwhile, we come out of the media timeout. Karan Williams knocked down 2 of his free throws inside Walling Ellison into the game and lights up the scoreboards immediately.
And this is somebody I have loved to see whenever he comes back to Windsor after playing here for the Express last year. A guy who, if you give him a chance to heat up, can become an absolute spark plug and an absolute guy who will hustle on both ends of the floor, as this is big time hustle.
Loose ball on the floor, finding Harris, slams it home. And we got a man down.
I think Desmond Lee got an elbow to the face after that play.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of the vices when it comes to going mano-a-mano with each other, especially as how physical this game and series has been. He gets up immediately. The man's half rubber. Thank goodness he's all right. Kevin Loisel will check in for the Express meanwhile.
Yeah, Kevin Loisel, how would I put this? Potential public enemy number one after leaving the Mile 1 Center, somebody that has a big-time hustle player and somebody that can be that small ball lineup 5. So somebody that needs to really turn things around after his Game 2 struggles.
Hinkle barely shoots the 3 and it goes off the top. Here comes Maurice Jones. After talking to Bill Jones last week, JP, he realizes that Maurice Jones is a veteran and a general within himself as Stutz misses the 3. And now here comes Karan Williams.
Yeah, he's somebody that can really dazzle people with the steal attempts and his ability to pass, and look at that pass!
Good wraparound pass inside the Granzi glaze. He glazes the donut right to the basket. And they'll take the lead. 13-11 is the score. Right on outside, Braylon Racing misses the 3. And now here comes Hinkle. Right on over, 2 passes in. Grandy Glaze on the quick handoff. Beauty finger roll right there. And this time Desmond Lee gets the shot to go and they expand the lead to 4. Here's Stutz, wraparound pass, goes inside to drive, goes to work, kisses it off the glass and in.
Yeah, nice drive to get it just on by Glaze, but look at Hinkle.
A quick tap in by Stutz, but before that it will have a charge called with 3:36 remaining in the first quarter.
I think it's actually an offensive foul on that. Kevin Loisel, of course, trying to plead his case. Is this going to send Hinkle to the line to shoot 2?
You know, the one thing about Kevin Loisel is he will not stay silent for anything. He's a very vocal player, as we have seen over the past few years and has been alluded to within the last number of games of this season. I mean, he is a surefire veteran for this Windsor Express squad as Charles Hinkle knocks down the first free throw.
Yeah, he definitely is, and I think that's why they brought him on back. He's one of the 3 main pieces, of course, for Windsor's hot stretch from February all the way up to the playoffs, just about into the final few games, of course. So somebody that really helped keep this team together as Sefton Barrett is on the floor now.
Sefton Barrett comes into the game. Once again, this is a guy that came into the Windsor Express halfway through the season. Took a while for him to gel within it, but, you know, he becomes a defensive and an offensive force. When that situation arises, that ball will be tapped out of bounds. Windsor Express will still have the ball with 11 seconds on the shot clock. And Barrett will be the trigger man right on over the Jones. Jones makes a wish, comes true, knocks down the 3.
Well, he's seen the chance to just pull up over his defender and took the opportunity, as he now brings us to a 1-point ball game.
Former Windsor Express player to another. That's Johnson to Wally Ellenson. Williams, double team, trying to find a way to poke through Barrett. 6 on the shot clock. There's Xavier Ford, and it will go the other way. So this is what most of the fans missed from the Windsor Express this past Sunday afternoon here, JP.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed to see here after Sunday. Very strong defensive plays. The offense is a little lack to be desired after the first few minutes, but plays like that will keep them going.
Logan Stutz off the high-low pass with a little reverse, and they regain the lead, 18-17 here. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Ellison goes to work. Glaze. Right over the Superman Johnson. Right on open. Karan Williams misses the 3. And here comes the Windsor Express. Maurice to the basket. And 1.
And again, able to draw the contact for the N1. He is good at doing that when he needs to there. And now Windsor's definitely getting a lot of momentum that they need a chance to go to a 2-possession game just like that with the first trip to the line.
3-point play coming up for Maurice Jones. Substitution. Shaquille Keith comes in, and right as a rebuttal, Carl English will come back to the game as well. So Maurice Jones off to the line here. 2-possession game.
And that's something you don't want to have happen to you, sending Windsor to the line many times. This was a team that shot 79% as the top team in the league in terms of free throws made in the regular season.
English 1-on-1 against Barrett. Down into Glaze. Glaze try to fake it up. Back tap over the English. Knocks it down.
Carl English.
Of course, Carl English, a very dominant player, and look at this.
Wide open range for Braylon Rayson. Knocks down the train.
I don't know how you...
And a steal. Barrett sends it home.
I think you might want to call a timeout soon here because Windsor is about to blow the roof off this building. Just able to strip it on away right off the inbound, and September with a one-handed slam for a swing of 5 points in about 5 seconds.
Johnson, the teardrop, gets it to go. The veteran presence, former Mississauga Power player, former Windsor Express player, and now St. John Edge gets the teardrop to go with 1:13 remaining. Rayson one-on-one against Wally Ellenson. Step back with the three. Can you say unbelievable?
Everything is just falling at this point, and you can see the Edge are starting to press here. Why not break up this run, lean to the air ball?
They're going to count that as a long two. We're down to under a minute here in the first quarter. Rayson will get the foul. That shot won't count, and that's going to be a foul on Wally Ellenson.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a timeout because everything is starting to come off the rails here. This was about a 3-4 point lead about 2 minutes ago, and all of a sudden, everything has gone all express in the past couple minutes. They're going to try and do it with a couple substitutions here, but just the momentum is starting to flow their way. They got to find something defensively to stop them.
Rayson gets double teamed, finds Loisel right out. Barrett fires a three, got it! They are unconscious from beyond the arc, my goodness. Pull out the smelling salts. On the other hand, Skate over the Hinkle, misses a three right off the front. Here comes Maurice Jones, disadvantage 1-on-3. He'll take it in himself. Oh my!
Well, you can hear the PA announcer and Phil Knight have to agree with you. This is just all express now after this. Lockdown defense, unbelievable offense. Got to put up the quick shot.
Down to 1 second. Skeet will have to put it up, and they don't read the clock, and the quarter ends. There goes the buzzer, and the Windsor Express take a 12-point lead. But everybody's got to calm down here. We got 3 more quarters to go. End of one, 33-21. We'll come back right after this timeout. All right, welcome back to the WFCU Center. Express 33, St. John's Edge 21. And Justin and I are still amazed at the explosion we have just witnessed on the other end. Nothing to fly by from St. John's, but man alive. If you want to bring out smelling salts from beyond the arc, you better do it now. The Windsor Express unconscious.
4 of 8 from deep, and most of those triples came in about a span of 3 minutes, mind you, Aaron. Just their offense seemed to just light up in the final few minutes of the quarter. plus that defensive pressure we've seen at the start of the quarter came back alive once again once St. John's offense started coming together. All of a sudden, it's now a 12-point ball game, and they're keeping up that stifling defense on Hinkle.
We go back to live action. Reed puts it up and in. That's 2 points that you really want to start off with. That's the tough nitty-gritty play right there that Ryan Reed has been developing right here. 33-23. As once again, Windsor Express on Knoxham TV is brought to you by Central Park Athletics. Of a quick foul. Shaq Keith try to take a gander right inside here.
Yeah, it's going to send him to the line here. Just try to cut inside. We've talked about this multiple times where at the beginning of the season, he put up a heck of a lot of threes and ended up missing a fair amount of those. And then about the midway point of the season, we were talking about with him where he decided to try and cut more inside and go to the line and draw himself contact for these free throws. You know, as he said, if I have the chance to go to the line, basically, I'm going to go and drop those chances. He makes 2 of them right there, brings it back to 12.
It's been his true calling since the second half of the season, and he's been stirring up wonders for the Windsor Express. Now they're up 12, just underway here in the second quarter. Reed going to work on Loisel, gets triple team, flips it back out. Braylon racing on the back tap, and Charles Hinkle will get it. Once again, not a backcourt violation because the Express tapped it out. 7 on the shot clock. English goes inside, knocks it down.
Carl English able to shed off his defender and Loisel there to get the nice separation he needed to have for the mid-range that he's so good at. As part of why he's the MVP.
Quick 3, Maurice Jones knocks it down.
And another beauty of a shot with the quick trigger from Maurice Jones. You gotta be prepared for him to shoot that contested 3 over top of you in that kind of a situation.
Reed right down low, fires it, no good. Quick whistle on the play. Once again, for those of you who are just tuning in or not having a feed there, we apologize. We'll continue this on radio mode. For those of you just tuning in, let us know down at our Twitter handle, and we'll proceed with the game. Quick offensive foul, however, it will go the other way. Once again, just tuning in, Windsor Express 38, St. John's Edge 25. We're working to rectify the situation with our video feed. So we will try to rectify that. So once again, let us know, especially in the comments and to our Twitter feeds. I'm at A. Sanders Windsor and Justin is at JP Sports. Anyhow, we go back to the game. Right on the right side is Loisel, stutters on his dribble. English has a piece at it, tight-roading the sidelines as Hinkle, but it will be out of bounds. But they'll go the other way regardless.
Yeah, again, right now, the Edge need to get some buckets and a string of buckets together because this Express lead is slowly growing and chipping on forward here. Expect a lot more, maybe cutting in action to try and get something set up, or maybe set up a pick on the perimeters. My goodness, I think a hand just hit English.
Yeah, English is shaken up a little bit. Hinkle goes inside the drive and he puts it in. Again, Carl English is back down a little shaken up, but like a veteran, he goes back and tries to do his job. Big block right there, Ryan Reed. And here they come, clicking on all cylinders. They needed this. Hinkle down the line over. Here's Lee, easy teardrop finger roll.
No idea what just happened with the defender there. You can't leave him open that much there with a guy like Lee. As you mentioned, somebody that was very hot in the last game, 16 points, in fact, in game number 2 as that one misses.
Shots missed by Maurice Jones, and here comes the Edge. Now, if there's one thing that St. John's Edge has an advantage of over the rest of the 9 teams of the NBLC is that they corral, whether if they're on a comeback or if they're up by 20, they keep on pressuring in, they keep on leading the charge, and you know what? Veteran leadership isn't the only reason why they keep on corralling, regardless if there's 6 seconds on the clock or if they're down 20, JP.
Yeah, this is a very, very good team in terms of the leaders you have. Well, you have a guy like English, who of course has very much experience across the globe and as a Canadian national. You have guys like Charles Hinkle being a part of that movement as well. You have hustle players like Wally Ellenson off the bench, for example. Granny Glacier picked up mid-season in a trade, or in transaction movements, I should really say. You have a lot of pieces here that are very good parts of this squad. as Lee draws the whistle, and I think it's going the other way.
Offensive foul right there. Now, we talk about the aggression of the St. John's Edge and how they corral, but it's one of those problems. It's one of those problems where even if you're as a team, you got to keep on with those cool heads as we get right back to the action. So once again, for those of you who are having a problem that's saying the video is unavailable, please reload your page and we should be all good. Desmond Lee will be pinned with a foul. Back to the action. Here's Logan Stutz trying to size up on Hinkle. Wrap around, pass into Harris. Gets it swatted away. People wanted a foul, but that was clean.
That was clean, and here comes the Edge right here.
This is where they capitalize on the most. Karan Williams passes it outside. The three is good. Jaron Skeet really coming into the fold now, and the lead is now 6. Frazier going behind the back, dribbling right on outside. Logan Stutz, Mohawk and all. We'll talk about that later. DeMontre Harris fires it up. It's no good, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
St. John's foul number 7, Ryan Reed, his first.
We have a substitution on the floor here.
For St. John, number 55.
Grandy Glaze will return to the game. Then again, I'm impressed with Grandy Glaze anyhow, JP, you were saying.
Yeah, just want to make a quick correction. I was thinking of somebody else involving one of the transactions earlier on with someone the Edge had acquired earlier on. Glaze, of course, been with the team since training camp. Apologies for that quick mistake. But again, somebody that I want to reiterate again is somebody that is a big part as he comes back onto this floor, somebody that can get some decent plays, get some good rebounds, and be a good player to help set up your offense.
Leads now 7, about 8 minutes to go here. Skeet right on over to Williams. Williams pierces through the defense, grapevine and all, gets the teardrop to go.
And Williams again continuing to heat on up with the scoring here, and this is helping the Edge come back into this one. As now the stifling defense we've seen from the Express in the first quarter is now from the Edge.
They deflect the shot. Right on the corner is English. Glaze, right on outside. Williams fires it. That's been his hot spot this past Sunday afternoon. And he retracts and gets the 3 to go.
And again, tapped up shot attempt towards the three-point line going off the backboard. Sets up all that there on the other end of the floor. And now it's a 2-point ball game just like that.
Once again, don't let this Edge team lullaby you to sleep. They are entertaining as can be. Once again, we got players. We mentioned Grandy Glaze. We mentioned Charles Hinkle. Of course, we all know how his presence is down on social media, JP, no question about it. And on top of that, we got some fans who actually corralled over here from St. John's, Newfoundland to watch their teams play.
That just shows the amount of fan power that the Edge have here as they're going to get the ball after this turnover. But yeah, this is a team that has a lot of good fans from across the country really come down and follow their team to areas like Windsor, of course, and of course have social media presence, guys like #HinkleHoops, to the point where CBC Newfoundland, he's been involved on there multiple different times for their outlets there. A big-time social media following that could potentially be a standard for the rest of the league from here on out.
Oh, they're going to be here for a long time, no question about it, if they keep things up like that. So hats off to them and the whole organization. Chad Frazier looks like he's going to go to the line, but it looks like Jaron Skeet's saying, now wait a minute, I had my hands up the whole time. So my correction, that was Karan Williams. He had his hands up. You know what, that's the good thing, not putting the body in, but the referees, they saw a different story down deep, JP.
Yeah, different story right now, and just not a lot of great chances in this quarter, at least, for down low. They have been drawing contact just to go to the line, already up, improving their free throw attempts right here, but the points in the paint have really slowed on down. You see, of course, 39 for Windsor, 14 now just in the paint, mind you, for the Express, compared to 16 for the Edge. So this is a game where it's been either you go to the line or you're outside shooting in the mid-range, or the 3 points has to be on par to be able to get things going. They got to find a way, both sides, I think, to try and improve the inside shooting as Frazier has free throws.
Frazier has free throws, and in addition to that, so will St. John's. They're going to shoot a technical free throw because Sefton Barrett got slapped with a tee. in the interim phases of that, so now they'll go the other way, and Charles Hinkle will take care of business with the technical foul. 6:55 remaining, 3-point game. Will it stay like that? We'll find out in a matter of moments. Once again, we want to thank the viewers who've been tuning in not only the whole season long, but also here tonight here on Knockstrom TV. We have a great crew here, no question about it. In addition to that, hopefully a lot more people will tune into this, and we want to welcome the viewers who are watching down at St. John's as well. As Hinkle knocks down the technical, they'll regain possession, and they'll inbound it from the sideline. So 6:55 remaining here in the second quarter. 2-point game for the Express.
And right now the Edge have a big time chance to tie this up if they have the perfect play set up. Watch Ellison potentially, or Skeet to come around the corner for an outside shot.
Glade gets flustered with the ball. They regain possession. Hinkle outside, open three, send it. Charles Hinkle regains the lead for the St. John's Edge, 41-40.
Yeah, and Hinkle able to save what became a big-time broken play as this is tapped out of bounds.
Jeff Dunlap isn't happy with that decision, but it looks like it will stay Express ball. No, better still, Shaq's going to go to the line to shoot too. I honestly thought it was out of bounds. The way I see it, Jeff Dunlap, who's pleading his case, you know, once again, the defenders were going right up with it. The hands didn't touch him or anything. But once again, Shaq Keith is a guy that knows body contact when he sees it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'm confused on why it goes to the line, but he still has a chance, of course, to take advantage here. But they're starting to miss free throws. This is now 2 missed free throws in the past couple minutes here. And this has to be made, and that he can't miss those kind of shots in a close game like this.
Grandy Glaze pinned with a foul. Shaq Keith misses 2 free throws, and you know that is a rarity here. St. John's over the limit, but Grandy Glaze tried to put it up, and it's no good. Here comes Keith leading the charge. 3-on-3 opportunity, puts it up. Ice cream scoop, no good. Fight for the ball. Loose ball will regain. Windsor will get the ball back per the possession arrow.
And it's still about halfway to the quarter. We like to, of course, remind you, if you're having stream issues, please reload your stream as soon as possible. We are, of course, in 720p here on Knockstrom TV. And be sure to be happy about we hope you are happy with your experience so far for today's playoff action. But to get to the point, back to the point with the free throws, I was trying to make a little bit before. Those missed free throws are going to build on up over time, where if you miss, say, 4 or 5 and a quarter, it's going to be a big-time thing in the end of the game if, say, you're down by 2 or 3 or 4, because if you made those early free throws in the game, you'd be up in the game. So you got to make sure you capitalize on a vast majority of your free throws, or at least up above the 70% range.
Well, look, you and I have been doing this for 3 years, whether flip-flopping from London or staying right here, and we know how crucial those free throws are. We're going to have a technical foul. Logan Stutz gets fouled, and we're going to have a technical foul.
Who is this going to be on here? I think of some of these discussions.
Let's hear Mark Knight.
St. John's foul number 55, Grandy Glaze, his third. St. John technical foul number 55, Grandy Glaze.
Yes.
Grandy Glaze with the personal and the technical. That's not good. And we're going to have a media timeout, and a perfect time to do that because all heads got to cool down here. St. John's up 1. Here on Knockstrom TV, brought to you by Central Park Athletics. All right, back here from the media timeout. Once again, contestant this close from winning $500 right here, but as cool heads prevail here, JP, we're going to refresh the viewers. Grandy Glaze with the foul on Stutz, and he said, I guess he did something that would be detrimental to the game, so there was a technical foul on there. So Logan Stutz will knock down the 2 free throws, and they'll get the ball back on the technical foul. And down low, down to our bottom left side, we see the Deputy Commissioner, Audley Stevenson.
Yeah, he's discussing things with a few different league executives, including team president and CEO, of course, Dardis Willis. Also seen team presidents and team owner for the London Lightning, Vito, in town as well here. So a lot of people watching this playoff action here today as Stutz will make the technical.
He'll knock down that one, and once again, for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, Knoxstrom TV is the broadcaster for Windsor Express and London Lightning basketball. London Lightning, of course, losing in Niagara yesterday by 9. So Niagara, first off, kudos to them, their first ever playoff win in franchise history. Game 4 will be this Friday, and if necessary, Game 5 will be down the road, and Knoxstrom TV will be on the air for that. We'll be back right down there for round 2 if need be. So we thank you for tuning in once again, and hope you enjoyed the show here. Under 6 minutes to go, Windsor Express regained possession. Can't expand that lead. Chad Frazier misses the 3. Jaron Skeet one-on-one against Jones. Now, if you ask me, that's an ideal guard matchup right there. Finger roll by Hinkle, no good. Stutz back taps it around, and Barrett gets it. Jones cross courts right over the Keith. Frazier, Stutz, real estate. Can't provide the 3 on that one. 5:15 to go. Windsor Express up 3. Back and forth second quarter. Hinkle going one-on-one against Keith. Goes through the grapevine. Doesn't come out alive. Here's Barrett to the basket. Rejected by Ellison. On the putback is Stutz.
Beautiful chase down there as the trailer to get the putback. And exactly what they needed there, right there. Brings it back to a 2-possession game for the time being, but now they have to at least get an offensive stop here.
Skate right on over to English. English trying to drive, whistle on the play before all that happens.
And this, of course, going to bring a couple substitutions on here in year 2. Skate and Hinkle are going to come on out. As I believe it is Ford coming along with Alex Superman Johnson. He's going to have the inbound here, Aaron.
We have 2 former Windsor Express players into the game, and here's one of them that knocks down the 3, Wally Ellison. Can you call up Wally World? I believe so.
Yeah, I think Wally World opened sometime during game number 1 for sure. He's been playing very good at times in this series here. Of course, Stano in game number 1. Looking pretty good here in game number 3.
Barrett making it a shootout. He knocks down the triple, and it's 48-44. It's not too cold to have a shootout, no doubt about it. 4:08 remaining. Turnaround jumper. Reed in and out like a fast food restaurant. Here they come down the line. Barrett picks up the rebound.
And a lot of hustle there. Ellison tried to get multiple offensive boards.
And Chad Frazier puts it up and in. Assist by Maurice Jones. And this is the type of explosion we checked out here in the final minutes of the first quarter here, JP.
Yeah, big-time explosion, a big-time drive by Frazier, someone that's really good with acrobatic plays in traffic inside like that, as he's almost got it stripped away, but it's a foul.
Yeah, Chad Frazier with a little too much hand on that. He will be assessed with a foul. And Braylon Rayson will check back in. And you know what, with the scoring run the Windsor Express have, you know what, why not? Dig deep into your bench. They're confident shooters, why not?
Yeah, this is now the second swing basically at the end of a quarter already, starting to build on up. Still remember, the Edge, of course, have a +6 still in the score sheet right now. That could change if this keeps on going.
And now +8 as Carl English knocks down the 2. It is 50-46 in favor of Windsor. Braylon Rayson fakes the 3. Barrett, Keith, real estate. Can't fill it. Baseball pass right over there. Me oh my, the shot's good. Xavier Ford on the board.
Great transition play. They've seen again an opportunity to rush down the floor and go inside with a nice pass. Now it's back to a 2-point game. Can we see if Ford can get a defensive stop?
Shaq going right inside, and that's what he wanted. Now hold on a second here. Hold the phone, folks. We're going to see what's going down. It was initially a foul, and they'll go by that.
Yeah, Xavier Ford is going to be called on that contact there. He was, of course, having a contested play. As that's going to send, of course, Keith to the line. We mentioned, of course, his growing amount of attempts at the line and going towards the basket, more of an inside player. That, of course, has led to, as a player, shooting about 82% from the stripe in the regular season. 162 for 198, Aaron. So somebody that's very effective from the stripe.
It's somebody that's no stranger to the free throw line as well. So Shaq Keith set to knock down the first free throw, and he knocks it down. Coming up next here is the Knockstrom halftime. Me and JP will join you upstairs from the media booth. We'll break down the first half, and we'll reflect upon what we have witnessed in the first week of the NBL Canada playoffs. As the lead is now 3 with 2:50 remaining, we'll have a quick timeout. And as they take a timeout, we'll take ours. We're right back. All right, 4-point game. We welcome you back here at the WFCU Center. Windsor Express Playoff Basketball on Knockstrom TV is presented by Central Park Athletics. JP, this is pretty much reminiscent of what we've seen the past 2 games. Pretty close in the first half, but of course we know all doors open up for the second half, but you got to admire the effort of what both of these clubs have been providing to not only us, but the fans here so far tonight.
Yeah, it's been a quarter of runs, especially here in the second, so to speak, because of course, if you remember, the Edge, of course, went down by 12 by the end of the first after a big-time amount of turnovers, hustle, strong plays on the outside, as well as on the transition after forcing a 5-point swing at one point. This is a big-time amount of offense for them to go now into a +8 situation, almost +10, and will go into +10. This is the kind of effort St. John's need to have to start off a second quarter to bring this back to a 2-point game like it is.
From a high-low pass to second chance opportunities, that was Ryan Reed who kisses it off the glass. Knight, so does Shaq Keith. No, he doesn't this time. Boy, howdy. He felt a little bit crossed after that, but anyhow, we go back to the other side. English fighting through Stutz, wins the battle inside the Reed. Another high-low pass stripped away. Here comes Rayson on the attack. Grayson, Jones, and there's Barrett. Send it home.
Great passing all around the perimeter to separate things out. All the defense, everyone basically backed off of Sefton Barrett. And again, when you leave a shooter like that open, he's just going to pull up and take a chance. That time, chance goes in.
He's having a whirly bird of the night as Ellison can't get the jumper to fall. Here comes Jones through the double team, pumps it around. He gets the foul on his former teammate, Wally Ellison. One thing to mention too, JP, when I interviewed Bill Jones last week, you know what, he says, you know, it's a little bit difficult coaching against his former teammates, especially in this series. I mean, we talk about Wally Ellison, we talk about Alex Superman Johnson, but you know what? Like you said in the telecast over and over again, Wally Ellison found his niche in a Windsor Express uniform, and of course, Alex Superman Johnson, one of those known NBL Canada veterans, so you know what, hats off to them. But once again, it's always interesting to see veterans like that who used to go under Bill Jones's wings and succeed like this.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting. It shows the amount of talent they have to see in multiple different organizations. And of course, as you said, difficult mentally because you're thinking, yeah, I used to coach this player, work with them in different ways. Now I'm going to have to deal with them on the opposite side. So that's definitely something that plays in one of my games. There's a whistle drawn.
Sefton Barrett saying, oh, who, me? That couldn't be, but it is him. Right down to the wing, that was quite obvious.
Quite obvious for sure.
Express foul number 24,
yeah, and he's somebody that's a very good hustle player, I have to say that. But sometimes can make mistakes where he has too much energy, so to speak. That's why I think Barrett's going to go to the bench and calm down for about a second or so, with a minute 17 to go in the quarter.
We're going to see Anthony Otley Jr. into the game for Windsor and Desmond Lee for St. John's. Back to the action. English fires it from about 8. He got it to go. So Carl English corralling the edge, and now they're stuck 5. Last minute of play in the half. Loisel from deep, no good. Jones pegs around for the rebound, quick foul.
Yeah, you can't do that if you're Otley Jr. and reach down and try and keep English on the floor. You cannot do that. Obvious call drawn on there, and I think it's actually going to go against the edge, surprisingly.
You know what? I'm a little bit confused on that. I mean, granted, Anthony Otley Jr., he has the muscle and he has the ability to go in there for the second chance. But Jaron Skeet, he got a little bit ousted on that play. So once again, we're scratching our heads and have a question mark on our heads as well. But nonetheless, Maurice Jones will go to the line. But you know what? It's fouls like this that does not deter the edge, too, because you know what? When they come up strong in the second half, it's pretty much a different story.
Yeah, different story, as this is a team that is a very strong one. It's going to be a definite absolute story because, remember, this was about the score sheet it was after the first half with the way the scoring was going in that double OT game. Then the Edge, of course, was able to turn things around in the fourth quarter specifically.
And another foul again. Kevin Loisel pleading his case. And Mark Knight says that will be Kevin Loisel with the foul. That puts the Express, well, the Express are already over the limit. Charles Hinkle off to the line, knocks down the first free throw. Once again, stick around with us at halftime. We'll have the Knockstrom halftime from up here, breaking down the first half analysis and what we have witnessed in the first week of the NBL Canada playoffs. Wally Ellenson returns after a quick rest. And now it's a 5-point game with 46.6 seconds remaining in the half. And Maurice Jones, right after a quick roll-up, brings it up to the timeline, racing down away, fires it up, falls away, no good. Allenson on the board. Hinkle pushes it up court. And Jaron Skeet slows things down. 13 seconds difference, shot clock, game clock 20, shot clock 7. English tried to go to work, stripped away by Otley Jr. Down to 2 on the shot clock, fires away off the glass, no good. Another chance at it, he gets fouled, and he's off to the free throw line.
Yeah, able to draw another whistle as still a chance to bring this to a one-possession game, and you can see that team trying to play, maybe figure something out as English goes to the line. Also somebody a very good free throw shooter, and really somebody this team, of course, is around 84.8% in the regular season, Carl English, as this is going to be one of his first attempts at the stripe tonight, Aaron.
Absolutely. Once again, Carl English, the hometown hero. And before his free throws, they'll take a timeout. We'll stay right here. And now, JP, you know, a lot of aggression coming on both ends of the court from both sides of the team. But you know what, when you look at it, St. John's, you got a lot to keep your head up about. A strong second quarter from them. What else do they have to do in order to corral themselves into a comeback here as we go on here to halftime?
Well, for one, you got to make sure your offense doesn't stall out and have that as many turnovers as you've had, which has helped create some of the runs. Turnovers right now is down to just 3, but The turnovers they have had are the ones that have been able to trigger the runs that the Express have been having for part of this game right now. So, close that down as well. Shooting at 60%, that is a very much strong point. And right now, I think you got to draw contact. They are in the bonus here in the second quarter, regardless of them being able to close this on up. You're not going to have the best days if you're down 7 free throws, made compared to your own squad. So try and find a way to control the foul situation and as well keep the offensive pressure going. You're shooting the lights out, for the love of goodness sake, at 60%. You should be up at this case if it wasn't for the free throws, because everything else has been going just about golden for you, for this team.
Now Carl English at to the line. Good tips from Dr. JP. Free throws missed by Carl English to the crowd's delight. Hinkle splits, no, my mistake. English knocks down one free throw, splits the pair. Final 8 seconds here in the half. Jones going to the basket. Loisel, last attempt right here, drives inside, and they'll count it. They'll count the basket, but it will be an offensive foul as well.
I don't think that would make sense if they count the basket in an offensive foul. I don't think that's going to count, obviously.
And it won't. The scoreboard reflects the same thing. So the basket's waved off, and we'll have another timeout.
I was going to say, why would that be the case?
Well, usually, we've seen in the last few years, JP, you know, there's some questionable plays like that where they count the basket and they'll have the offensive foul, so they have the right of way. But if they disallow the basket, then you know what, by all means, that's the right call.
Yeah, it was the right call for the offensive foul because it was a perfectly timed pick to draw that one up. You've seen the shooter, of course, try and move to the right side of the screen, but he had too much momentum to carry to try and avoid him, which knocked him down, obviously, able to keep the feet planted down on top of that to draw that, which takes a lot of skill to be in the proper position and be able to still keep the feet planted when setting that pick forward to draw the charge. That is why this basket does not count. That is why timeout drawn, and that is why it's still a 4-point ball game.
And you know what? More than a second left, which means St. John's got plenty of time to fire up a last chance Hail Mary at need be. But you know what? Looking at Kevin Loisel, you know what? We shouldn't be surprised that he's taking charge and taking contact like that, trying to beat the clock as well. But once again, you really need to watch where you're looking at, especially if you're going right down to the rim. So here we go, 1.6 remaining in the half. Wally Ellenson will guide the inbounds pass. You might as well expect Hinkle to pop out. Nope. Well, yes, he will. He gets the shot, beats the buzzer, got it! Charles Hinkle beats the buzzer, and now it's a 1-point game.
My goodness, that was a perfectly timed pass and perfectly positioned pass on the inbound. And great pivot to be able to quickly get it to Hinkle before they ran out of time there for the pull-up. That was a perfectly executed and drawn-up play by Coach Dunlap to be able to get that bucket to bring to one going into the lockers.
And the crowd's a little bit silent after that three, and now things are going to get close here. We'll be back up here for the Knockstrom halftime right after this message. The Windsor Express on Knockstrom TV is brought to you by Central Park Athletics. All right, welcome to the Knockstrom halftime up here, presented by Central Park Athletics. 1-point game, or should I say 1-point edge. Windsor Express over the St. John's Edge, 59-58. I'm Aaron, this is JP, Justin Prince. JP, like I said, the St. John's Edge really capitalizing in the second quarter, you know, preventing any more scoring explosions from the Windsor Express here. Yeah, that is for sure. As this was a game in a quarter, I should say, of runs after runs. This is the kind of quarter I think the Edge needed to have, where they were able to bring the defensive intensity that the Express showed them in the first, then turn that into buckets, basically forcing the missed shots and keeping up the pressure. They've been shooting off very well. They had a +10 just about in the entire quarter, mind you, Aaron, as well. So this is a team right now that is looking very strong and having basically a majority of the momentum going into the locker rooms, exactly what they needed to do to position themselves, and that is in part, of course, with that three-pointer to beat the buzzer by Hinkle. Well, we see Carl English, you know, usually he slows things down in the first quarter, a little bit low scoring, but you know what, that picks up within the second half. But in addition to that, the supporting cast, I mean, Ryan Reed, Karan Williams, and of course Charles Hinkle, the aforementioned Charles Hinkle. So you know what, it's the supporting cast that's making the St. John's Edge really strong game after game. Yeah, that is for sure. You can't just have one or two players be the main core. You have to have a collective unit, especially in the second season of the playoffs. If you just have that one person, let's say that person has a struggle of a night, you're going to fall behind big time. In this, you need the big-time players to set up and step up. That's why I think you're seeing a guy like Wally Ellenson, who's been a big-time player in these playoffs, really come out in these playoffs after having seen sparks of that during the regular season this year, and of course the same during last year with the Express. He's one of those guys you can have to have kind of step up. So very strong team the Edge are, and this is going to be a tough matchup for sure for the rest of the game, and if it's extended forward, the rest of the series. Well, once again, the St. John's Edge, they lead 2-0 to win here. Will give them a trip to the Central Division Finals, but the Windsor Express want to stave off elimination tonight and play for another night, which is, of course, Friday, Game 4. Windsor Express, on the other hand, scoring explosion. We're seeing a lot of tenacity right down deep, and then, of course, unconscious from beyond the arc as well. Unconscious for sure. They've been able to stretch out the floor for a lot of plays to get those triples set up, and our times, they've just been shooting over the man, basically, like Maurice Jones has with the quick triggers. So that has been one of the main bread and butters. Got to still lock up the defense, I think, though, because that's in part what let them on by. They slowed down the intensity for the first half of quarter number 2. That's when the Edge started to claw back on in and made this a one-possession game. Made it intense for the next 3 minutes. That's when the Express pulled back on away, when the Edge started missing the shots when the defense closed on up. Then they backed off a little bit again. Then the Edge clawed themselves back in the final 2.5, 3 minutes. So this is a game where if you keep up the defensive pressure and intensity and keep the energy to do that for much of the way, they're gonna be able to pull away enough if they need be to come away with a W. Absolutely. Before we go on to the second half keys right here, JP, let's take a moment to talk about what we have witnessed during the first week of the NBL Canada playoffs. We start with the other Central Division matchup. Niagara River Lions taking on the London Lightning. London Lightning coming out of the gate with the first 2 wins, but Niagara winning yesterday. How do you make of that? Well, for one, first win in franchise history in the postseason for them. Congratulations to them. And second, they needed to have that in this kind of thing after London basically blew them out of the Budweiser Gardens after the first 2 games. There's a lot I can really say about that series. I'm not even sure where to start, basically, with the domination that we've been waiting to really see if they can do it in the postseason, guys. He's among that team like Royce White, like seeing Garrett Williamson come into that. A bunch of players coming in on that very deep roster for when they need to play big time, the postseason, try and become defending champions. River Lions, they came out strong and what they need to have to start off game number 3, and were able to keep it up to about double digits for most of the way. So I'm going to be interested to see if they can do it again in game number 4, because you definitely know the Lightning will be absolutely motivated to try and blow them out on the home floor for a game number 4 if they can and have the right personnel on that floor. Game 4 this Friday. Don't forget to check it out down to the Meridian Center. We go over to the Atlantic Division, which is the battle of the 506. It's paying extreme dividends. St. John Riptide and the Moncton Magic. Moncton Magic pulling through, but in the first 2 games, neither team has scored under 100 points, so you can know how powerful this rivalry is.
big-time rivalry and a very close matchup and a close series for sure. As this is going to be something I think I'm going to keep my eye on for sure in the next couple of games, potentially in this series. These two teams were very intense, of course, during the regular season. Very intense again during the postseason right here. I think we're going to see it exactly continue to flare up really for game number 3, and especially those players you expect to step up in the postseason, like guys like Juan Patillo from Moncton, continue to keep on building up.
Same with Juan Patillo, so is Terry Thomas. He got the line of the night not so long ago in the playoffs, so once again, paying extreme dividends with those good off-season trades as well throughout the middle of the season. Final matchup, we'll be talking about the Halifax Hurricanes, the Island Storm. Island Storm out of the gate, pulling out an upset in Game 1, but Halifax evening up all odds Game 2. Series shifts to Charlottetown PEI at the Eastlink Center for Games 3 and 4. Is an interesting match too, because nobody expected the Island Storm to put up a big fight.
Well, I kind of did. Again, there was something at the start of the season. I consider them my dark horse, and they made it, of course, to the postseason. They're still putting up a decent fight here. But we got to mention this, of course. Devon Maxwell not part of the team, released due to contact detrimental to the team according to the team release. So when you have the defensive player of the year no longer a part of your team in the middle of a postseason, in the middle of a series, mind you, I think it really changes the dynamic. Yes, they've been able to rally around after losing Andre Stringer, I should say, to an injury, a season-ending injury. I'm going to be interested to see who will be the person to step on up now with Maxwell's role. Going to be opened on up basically now after that situation. So I think that really changes things for the Island Storm. Interesting to see how they react, though, for their next game.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, you've got good guards like Kimmy Olsey and Franklin Session, but once again, filling in the void right down low, especially when it comes to the defensive end, is very vital, especially if you want to make an upset. Because remember, if you look at it, too, the Island Storm, they pulled off an upset last season against the St. John Riptide, pulling it out in 5 games before dropping in 6 to the Halifax Hurricanes. So basically all is possible for the Island Storm. Considering what they started off with this season, anything can be done.
Anything can be done. This is the postseason, remind you, of course, with this. So anything can happen. Just one good stretch of momentum can really turn things around for a series and for a postseason run. I think basically if you're Coach Kendrick and his squad, you're telling your team basically, be prepared to fight. You're missing one player after this situation, yes, but now with this series coming back to the Island Storm's home, of course, on PEI, this is going to be where you're saying, we want to keep this season alive. We need to play the best we can and fill that void that's going to be left, of course, with the Defensive Player of the Year. Fight as hard as you can to keep this series alive.
Oh, he loves it. We hear him on social media all the time. He's glad to be in this position, no question about it. So they have the tools to do it for sure, but we're going to have to see what happens in Game 3 and Game 4. All right, we all come back to this one at the WFCU Center. Second half tips, Windsor Express trying to stave off elimination. How can they do that?
Well, right now, they have been playing very well when they have defensive intensity on their side. So I think we see that starting off in the first few minutes of the quarter to try and get themselves separated away, maybe force a turnover too, because there's only been 3 turnovers from the edge, we should mention, of course. So they got to find a way to maybe force a few more mistakes and force missed shots to be able to get themselves spread out to maybe double digits again, maybe 8 or 9 points. But again, then they got to be prepared if they have to let off to preserve energy, for example, because remind you, if they come up with a series, make this a 2-1 series, they got to play on Friday, mind you. So they got to find a way to then continue that without having basically smash mouth kind of defense and intensity on their side. As well, their 3-pointers have been working. They're 8 of 15, I'd really say, around that point right now. Continue that kind of shooting, you're going to come up with the ball game. But you have to turn things around inside as well. Because if that stalls out or gets contested, that you should expect the edge to try and pressure on the outside perimeter, you're going to lose this ball game. So find a way to set up some ball movements and some screens to go for the pick and roll and get some separation, to go for the ball penetration, to get layups and potentially slam dunks in case the 3-pointer gets contested and stalls out.
St. John's, they want to punch their ticket early and get their first playoff series win. What has to be done for them in the next 24 minutes?
I think what needs to be happening for them is basically They have been shooting the lights out, basically, as we mentioned before, about 60% from the field. Keep that scoring clip up at least for the game. Get it to around 50 and 47%, 48, not 49%. That should keep you in this game. But defensively, you can't leave the perimeter open like Windsor has been able to spread the floor with a few times with their passing from one player to the corner, down to around to the right middle side of the point, back to outside once again, then to the top for the three-point shot, for example. Got to be prepared to close up those passing lanes. That will be expected to either go inside if the three-pointer stalls out, as mentioned, or they continue to try and go to that well and try and pass outside to go back inside potentially if that option goes away. Be prepared for that and force turnovers and force mistakes on top of that. One turnover the entire first half, Aaron, for the Express. Force the Express to start making mistakes. Force them to press. That was part of what the Edge did in the first quarter themselves in the final couple minutes when this lead balloons to 12 for the Express. Press them, force turnovers. And one last thing I should probably mention as well. Don't bring them to the free throw line or else you're going to get outscored at double digits by about double what you have once again like you did in the first half.
Man, how many times have we mentioned that over the telecast throughout this year, JP? I mean, that's vitally important. They're number one at the free throw line like we mentioned over and over again. But you know what? Again, a lot to take in, but it can be easy. But it won't be easy for the next 24 minutes. Windsor Express up one, 59-58 at the half. St. John's Edge trying to make a comeback and try to punch their ticket in. The Windsor Express, they want to live for another day. They want to play here Friday. So it's only up for the second half to tell the story right here. Okay, so that's it for us for the Knoxham halftime. We're going to come back in just about a minute, and we'll have the call for the second half right here. The Windsor Express on Knoxham TV is brought to you by Central Park Athletics. All right, second half about to begin. 1 point lead for the Windsor Express over the St. John's Edge. Game 3 of the NBL Canada Playoffs is presented by Central Park Athletics. We welcome you back to the WFCU Center in Windsor, Ontario. Aaron and JP on the call. And buckle yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're going to be in for a doozy of a second half. And as JP indicated in the second half, nothing is safe, and you got to get down to the nitty-gritty here. So we see the Windsor Express players back onto the court.
Yeah, the Express, they've been having a good game. The Edge have also been playing a very good game, of course, with this. So I think it's going to come down to who's able to have a run to start off these first 6 minutes and then be able to establish and keep that momentum they had to be able to keep it the lead to what they need it to be to come out on top. We'll see what these strategies are coming out of this locker room.
All right, the Edge will start with the ball. Jaron Skeet with it. Skeet driving right down, draws first blood in the second half, and the Edge regains the lead.
Jaron Skeet easily able to cut on in. Enough separation from the defender to just drive on by, able to get it easily inside. So now we'll see how the Express respond.
Frazier regains the ball after Hinkle slaps it. Down to 7 on the shot clock. DeMontre Harris goes to work outside, studs. Down to 3 on the shot clock, puts it up, no good. Hinkle with the rebound. He stayed right in his zone, and now here's Lee, puts it up and in. 4 straight points for the St. John's Edge.
Well, this isn't looking good in terms of the defense already ready to start off this third. No chase back on that transition play for the Express right there as they draw the whistle.
Yeah, they draw the whistle right there. And once again, not an opportunity where you really need to be aggressive, because once again, we're talking about the head of the class when it comes to the free throw line, JP, and that's Shaq Keith. He missed 2 free throws already this evening. Will that change? We'll find out.
Yeah, right now, we talked about this already a little bit, of course, with his free throws for the season. But, of course, when the Express have multiple times where they go 1 for 2 or 0 for 2 from the line, that's when I think their offense really starts to absolutely crumble apart, and that really has lost them a couple games during the regular season. So they have to make it 2 for 2 at the line for a majority of their times for this third quarter at least.
Well, that will be a turnover and will be Express ball. And once again, the second half is where everything just breaks down here in the St. John's Edge. They're a strong team down here in the second. Back to the game, Frazier getting the crossover right on over to Jones on the left side. Into DeMontre Harris, trying to go to work on Reed. He does fakes once, fakes twice, misses the shot easily. And now here comes the Edge again. English pops up for the 3, and it goes. Carl English adds 3 more to his repertoire as the Edge lead by 4. 10-20 remaining here. Maurice Jones all the way. He'll get the foul.
Yeah, and again, this was foul trouble in the first part of this game. For the first half, I should really say, that sent Windsor basically to the line with the Edge getting 7 fouls in the second quarter. They can't afford to have that happen yet again here to start off the third, because that'll keep the Express in this one. But they do get some luck with a missed free throw from Jones to start off this attempt from the line.
Maurice Jones was perfect from the free throw line till then. The leading man in scoring. He now has 19 to his name, and the lead's cut to 3. Skeet right down, goes right back down to the middle. Reed over to Lee. Lee with the right hand, and he puts it up and in.
That was a beautiful way to cut through the 2 defenders there. He's seen the gap there, and it takes a lot of skill to be able to balance yourself to work your way through 2 defenders like that. Great play from Lee.
Frazier behind the back on English, down to 9 on the shot clock. Fires it at will, wanted a foul, won't get it, gets his own rebound, and there'll be a foul down low.
Yeah, they're really trying to hustle around for the rebound, as this is going to be, by the looks of it, going to be inbounded.
And look who's here, JP. Deputy Commissioner Audley Stevenson in the flesh. We're going to say hello to him. We'll give him a mic here as the play rolls on, and here we go. Audley Stevenson right here in the house. Good to see you, Deputy.
Hey, how you guys doing, man?
We're doing all right. Hope you're enjoying this game, too, as DeMontre Harris misses the shot. Man alive, you got to be amazed at the first week of the NBL Canada playoffs. It's been tremendous, to say the least.
Lots of action, man, but, you know, this is in the second season. This is what you expect to happen, man.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, meanwhile, substitutions coming on. This has definitely been an impressive little start, of course, to the postseason for the NBLC. How are you feeling up at the head office about what you've seen for the start of this year's postseason?
You know, it's kind of what we expected. I mean, you know, teams would be competitive. Teams would, I mean, you look at the job that Niagara did last night against London. You know, they they kept their playoff hopes alive, and in the process got their very first ever playoff win as a franchise. And I mean, this is what you expect this time of year. The Express, they've had a solid showing of that first. It was a great first half overall. So third quarter, clearly the focus of the Edge here is concentrated on ensuring that they spread the wealth in terms of scoring and produce buckets, easy buckets. But I mean, overall, it's been fantastic, and looking forward to a whole lot more.
We've been saying nothing but good words about the St. John's Edge because every time they come here, we are amazed at the talents we have. One day you see Grandy Glace, lighting up the scoreboards, and then Charles Hinkle, and then now you see Ryan Reed right into the game of the second half of the season. It's like, my goodness, you talk about a powerhouse, then there it is. I mean, there's nothing more you could say about them, considering this is an expansion team as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Edge have been really remarkable this postseason, and certainly all season long for that matter, and certainly not playing like a team in their inaugural year, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, the Express will get the ball back with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Sefton Barrett on the inbound. Right outside, Jones, catch and shoot, put her there.
Mr. 50, Maurice Jones, going to work.
Career high and franchise high 50 points in the final game of the regular season. 10-point loss to the KW Titans. We go back to the action. Reed fires it, gets his own rebound, scoops it up, no good. The ice cream scoop wouldn't work out for him, but he'll go to the line.
That's called sticking with it, Ryan Reed.
Wally Ellison into the game.
No stranger to the WFC floor, Mr. Wally Ellison.
Along with Alex Johnson, he's on the bench right now. But you know what? Again, with the veteran talent that St. John's has, you best believe they're going to be here for a while here, Audley. I mean, you guys, I bet you expected this once they came up with a team name, when they brought up Jeff Dunlap. I mean, class act all the way.
Look, they exceeded expectations. I mean, as an organization and a franchise, and look, I'm just ecstatic for the community, St. John's community. I love the way they've embraced their team, and I think that's really helped and fuel what we've seen from them this year.
Absolutely. We go back into the action at the top of the three. Maurice Jones get the handoff with the ice cream scoop in the reverse.
Nice.
Put two scoops.
Hey, when Maurice Jones gets that first step on you, man, you're at his mercy.
He is tricky to defend, too, and a lot of fans could attest to that. Same with Charles Hinkle, and there you go, the offensive foul.
Now some good action here. We have a question from the fans, of course, from Michael Kennedy. Any plans for expansion to join teams like the Edge? And as well, Sudbury, of course, lined up for the start of next season.
Yeah, I mean, Sudbury's lined up. Thanks for the question. I will say that there's always some sort of dialogue engaged with someone in terms of potentials, and we get lots of questions, and that's really encouraging because there's interest in seeing this league grow, and so there certainly are dialogues taking place. Nothing too early that we can comment on, but certainly when the opportunity exists for us to share news, we'd love to.
You know what? I can't wait to see what Sudbury stirs up next year. I mean, I know they got a good ownership group in ties with the Sudbury Wolves, so we're going to wish them all the best next season. And you know what? When it comes to the arena and everything, you know what? You can see that they're ready. I mean, they had to take a year back, to process a lot of stuff. But you know what? It's that proper preparation that will get them up and running, and that's what the St. John's Edge did, along with the Cape Breton Highlanders about a year ago.
Well, what I can say was Sudbury for sure. I mean, I was actually ironically talking about Sudbury on the ride up. I had a conversation with the ownership group, and they confirmed that May the 8th is when they'll be making a major announcement with respect to the team and all those sorts of things, that I can't wait to be up there to partake in that.
Mark your calendars, watch the social media right there. He said it first, May the 8th, the Sudbury something.
Sudbury, what do we want to call them?
I don't know. I don't want to call them.
Fans online to throw in their ideas or questions. The Sudbury.
I don't know. I don't want to call them the 705 because I believe the Raptors already got something down the line like that.
We've had one potential suggestion, but not the best for a team, I'll say that, in terms of what Brad Stone said in our comment section here on Knoxstrom TV, as that was a hard contested three to take there.
And it was. Maurice Jones comes up with it. Here's Frazier. They'll slow things down, 3-2 zone, in for the Edge. They poke the ball around. English try to keep it alive, and they will. They'll go the other way, and boy, here comes a little bit of confusion. From my hindsight, it looked like express ball, and it will be express ball. They rectified the situation.
It looked like it was poked from behind. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I saw contact afterwards either. It's great to see the officials kind of getting together and dialoguing that to make sure you get the right play.
Oh, absolutely.
The right call, rather.
In pressure cooker situation, especially in the postseason, it's vitally important to get all those plays down. Windsor
Sure.
Express down 3, 7:20 remaining in the third.
Lots of time.
Absolutely. Here's Frazier trying to grapevine through, and he does.
Nice. That's called manufacturing a bucket, Mr. Frazier.
Yeah, something we've seen all season long, Mr. Deputy Commissioner, with those kind of moves to be able to get inside, enough separation to make those kind of acrobatic moves with a guy like Frazier is my
Whoa,
goodness.
leapfrog by Barrett. Put him in the Summer Olympics.
Look at that.
Jones with the steal and the 2.
And those are the kind of hustle plays that Coach Jones would appreciate from his guys. We saw with Sefton Barrett and Mo Jones kept going and produced a steal and easy bucket.
Look, if anybody's any scouters of the Summer Olympics in 2020, you better sign up Sefton Barrett. Me, oh my, the hurdles on him.
He actually split the scores table in half with that hustle, too, as Henkel almost drawn it on one.
Yeah, let's fix the scores table here now. But anyhow, the Windsor Express, they regained the lead, 72-71, 6:47 remaining. If you're just joining us, Deputy Commissioner Audley Stevenson is in the house up here in the media booth.
Is Emily Marley doing work, putting that table back together?
She does a terrific job. You know what? She does a terrific job with the Windsor Express organization. Been with it the last few years. You know what? Big props and big credit to her and the whole organization that putting this together. They'll stop the play to see if everybody in the scores table is all right.
We're all safe at the scores table.
All
I
quiet
think
in the
Seth
Western
jumped over
Front.
everybody there.
Yeah.
Man,
First
showing
off,
them young legs there, Seth.
I'm gonna tell you this. If anybody's that's very good in social media, can I get a GIF of that? That's on the That's on the @line @ASandersWindsor @Justin P Sports. I mean, you know what? Considering what we seen a couple of years ago in the NBL Division Finals, and now you gotta admire the hops on this.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have an additional question from Brett Hedges. It's involving the alignment for the divisions. I think we discussed this once before. How will they be aligned with the expansion and, of course, with the Edge, of course, in the Central right now?
Well, we know the Edge are going back to the Atlantic where they, geographically make sense for them to be. If I were to speculate, I think it makes the most sense for Sudbury to be in the Central Division. That more than likely will be finalized at the end of year meeting with all the owners, but that'd be something that I would suggest makes a lot of sense.
You know, it's going to be a crying shame to see St. John's only twice in the year, but
Yeah.
You know what? It just
We've
makes the
been spoiled
competition.
this year, man.
Yeah, it makes the competition all the while better. Sefton Barrett tried to go with the bunnies. He tries to follow suit. Second chance, no.
Sefton,
Third chance, up and in.
Wow.
Sefton Barrett.
Yeah, we talk about that hustle. We talk about that activity on the board. Offensive rebounding. Missed the first one. Missed the second. Why not go get the third and do it again?
Gravity means nothing to him as he escalates and gives the Express a 1-point lead. 6:15 to go. Quick shot. Hinkle fires it, gets it to go.
Hinkle with a 3 in front of his bench.
Yeah, hashtag Hinkle Hoops is definitely heating on up in this
Wait
one.
a second. Was that a question for Brett Hedges?
Yes, it
Yes,
was.
it was.
Supposed to be in the house. Brett, what's going on, buddy?
A quick hi to Brett as we get back to
good
the
now.
action. Ellenson, Wally World is
Wally.
up and open for business.
Wally's been really shooting the ball from downtown as of late. Really giving him a great spark off the bench in terms of scoring.
Frazier up, no good. Back to the line it goes.
Yeah, and what? With the way this is going, this is going to be free throw attempts number, if I'm correct here, 18 and 19 if they can add these in, 19-20 overall. As I believe that's going to be a timeout coming up on the floor, Aaron.
And it will be immediate timeout. Audley Stevenson's in the house, and he'll continue to be in the house on the other side of this timeout.
quarter, guys.
All right, here we go. 3-point lead for the St. John's Edge, 79-76, coming out of the media timeout. Chad Frazier will go to the line to shoot 2. And once again, Aaron Sanders alongside JP Justin Prince. And with us up here, the Deputy Commissioner of the NBA, NBLC, Audley Stevenson. See, slip the tongue right there. It's been a long day, folks, I'll tell you.
That it has been.
But honestly, first week of the playoffs has been unbelievable.
It has been. Really, I'm really impressed with the way the officiating crew has really been managing this game. The first 2 games out in St. John's, we certainly were rough, and the way they've come out tonight to manage this game and try to take control has been really good. I'm impressed tonight.
Well, how about the records broken in the playoffs too? London Lightning dropping 151
My
points,
goodness.
And a double overtime game, of course, in this
St.
aforementioned
John's
series
Ed.
to kick
Absolutely,
things
game 1.
off. It's
That was an exciting one.
Yeah. So Braylon Racing comes back into the game. An unsung hero for the Windsor Express as we headed over the JP.
Yeah, that is for sure. The Express have been keeping this very close throughout the quarter right here. And this is going to potentially keep on going back and forth.
And Grandy Glaze gets the 2 to go. Once again, no exception for Grandy Glaze. He'll take anybody up and at him. 81-78 the score. Keith trying to go to work, tries to beat the double team. He'll step back, fires a long 2, and he puts it
Shaq
there.
Keith going to work.
Going to work big time indeed, and this is the kind of thing you need to see from this team with the way this is going back and forth, back and forth.
Wally World continues.
Man, like I said, he's just been really giving them a scoring punch off that bench.
Wally World continues even in the winner too, as Braylon Racing goes for the teardrop, no good, tip in by Stutz up and in.
Logan Stutz staying with it.
Staring with it right there and able to keep this to a 2-point ball game with that.
Hinkle hoops, doesn't come alive on that shot, and it will be Windsor ball.
Still 4:40 to go in this. Of course, Windsor with possession. Real quickly, this is something that does need to be asked. The fan just asked this. Any comments about Royce White's social media activity, if you're willing to comment on that?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't want to make this just about Royce. I mean, I think for any player in our league, there's an expectation to be responsible, and quite honestly, I think the league addressed that by issuing a fine early this week. I don't know if there's really much more to be said after that, but I mean, I would hold that to any player in our league, that there's a certain level of expectation, responsibility when it comes to commenting on social media.
Once again, we got to get back to the floor. A lot of people got to realize, what all the action is on the court. Wally Ellison knocks it down once again.
His 3rd in a row. Wally Ellison can't miss. Wow.
On the fly, Wally World is open for business. Back in Windsor in a moment. 5-point game for the St. John's Edge. All compliments to Wally World, opening up again like good old times, JP, here in Windsor.
Yeah, this is the time when you need players to step up, and this is the time where he is stepping up in the perfect role. He's been red hot basically for all 3 games of this series, and it's been the absolute difference maker for the St. John's Edge. Triples, the ability to have hustle plays on both ends and force steals and fight for rebounds. Exactly why they're up by 5 after those 3 straight triples.
2-on-3 zone still going on. Shaq Keith curls down, so does Logan Stutz. 7 on the shot clock. Braylon racing from the parking lot. No good. Crowd wanted the foul. They won't get it. Lee up and in. And it appears to be out of bounds. And that's what the call is.
St. John's Edge was looking for a call there. Official didn't think that was the case, so we'll inbounds it and start it again.
In all honesty, the ball did slip right out of his hand.
It looked like it.
Up in the air. Ellenson right on over. Lee with a pump fake. Into the heart of the defense, gets through everybody.
So Desmond Lee tries again, and this time he snipes in, and it gets easy too.
Man alive. Desmond Lee and Wally Ellenson looking for daylight, and they're getting it right now. Up 7.
Wow.
A good look pass.
Great pass.
Once again, we've seen him earlier in this season, Mr. Stevenson, the over-the-shoulder pass he did in one of the games last month. I mean, once again, it's no surprise to us that we're seeing that type of repertoire from Maurice Jones, especially in the crucial moments of the game like this.
Sure.
For sure, for sure.
So Eric Parker's going to check in, as Maurice Jones will be set to shoot a pair of free throws. So Eric Parker into the game. The Express stuck 7 with 3:16 to go in the third quarter. Once again, if you're just tuning in, Deputy Commissioner Audley Stevenson joins us for the third quarter in the NBL Canada playoffs, which is presented by Central Park Athletics. Edge with a 2-0 lead, a win here will give them their first playoff series win.
Hey, it's win or go home, man.
Absolutely.
It's win or go home.
It's basically the 4 words that basically surface in elimination situations in the world of sports. Williams breaking through his English, but he defers on the pass. Pick from Reed, and he gets his desserts. Pump fakes on the shot. Here's Lee for the 3. Got it.
Those 3 balls received. I think that's a 4th one that we've seen in this quarter.
St. John's Edge coming alive, unconscious from the 3-point line. Much different story from the first quarter.
Well,
as Keith tried to throw it away.
Well, it's not just that, but from the field, 69% shooting from the edge. That is going to be absolutely unstoppable if you don't lock down your defense. What's going on with Ellenson?
It looks like Ellison's.
I get some contact on the rebound there, but he's shaking it off, and the Kangaroo Kid is back at it again. A guy that's been quiet is Carl English.
And the ice cream scoop for Carl English goes through, just picking through the defense.
Double-digit lead now, 2:15 here in the third.
And now here's Rayson trying to go one-on-one with the head of the class. Keith from the parking lot, no good. Bear tried to get it, but Ryan Reed's right there on the attack. Williams, one-on-one against Jones. Right on over. Keith guarding, and now Reed gets it right around. 9 on the shot clock, goes to work. Pulses up, fires it from around 10, got it.
This is absolutely unstoppable at this
point. The offense is continually just roll
for
the Edge here.
What did I tell you? The Edge are a tough second half team. 96-84.
Double dribble.
Yep, it will be double dribble. Ball will go the other way. 90 seconds to go in the third quarter. And you can see the St. John's bench is aesthetic. And Chad Frazier will come back into the game. Jeff Dunlap got to be extremely pleased with the effort, especially in explosion here in the third quarter.
Sure.
Absolutely right now, because this is now 70.
Wow, wide open.
And once again,
Ryan
Reed with the dipper dunk.
I think the defense is absolutely falling asleep now for the Express. This is now 70+% shooting for the game. Just someone needs to wake up, because this is just absolutely no defense for the past few minutes, that's for sure. That has led to the 14-point pull away with a 70-point, up to 73.
Another scoop. Another scoop by McCarl English.
Once again, you might as well make an ice cream shop out of English. Those scoops have been phenomenal as the Edge reached the 100-point mark. Braylon Rayson misses a 3.
Pardon the pun, but it feels like the wheels are falling off here for the Windsor Express here in the third quarter.
Absolutely, they try to take it away.
At this point, when you're shooting 72% and you're allowing the 72% for a game, I think the wheels fell off about 5 minutes ago at this rate. Finally able to close up the run.
The bleeding has stopped. The Express are back on the board, but it's an uphill battle now, folks.
Shot clock irrelevant now, down to the final 17 seconds. Williams. English with the handoff. Down to 8 seconds. Coron driving down. Ellison's there to meet him, but he didn't need it. 2 more for number 2, Coron Williams.
It would appear that the Edge are scoring at will. And again, as we saw the end of that, the second quarter, last second bucket, they've expanded this lead to double digits. The work starts in the fourth quarter, folks.
Appreciate you coming up here, Audley. We'll
Thanks.
see you the rest of the way.
Hey, listen, thanks, guys. And by the way, I know we talked offline, but the work that you guys have done this season has been phenomenal. You've stepped up to the plate in a big way. The growth in professionalism with every game, you guys are showing more and more, and certainly doing the league proud. So thank you for your efforts. Thank you for your hard work, and let's finish strong, man.
Thank you very much, Audley. Always appreciate the feedback right there. Audley Stevenson, the deputy commissioner, right there. We're at the end of 3, 102-86. We'll come back for the fourth quarter right after this message and a word from Knockstrom TV. St. John's Edge about 12 minutes away from clinching the playoff series. Nonetheless, the Windsor Express has something to say about it in the final 12 minutes here, as the Edge have a 16-point lead over the Windsor Express. We welcome you back here to Knockstrom TV for more coverage of the NBL Canada playoffs presented by Central Park Athletics. And JP, I think you said this, the wheels have fallen off for the Windsor Express, and now they really need to buckle down, keep a cool head, and get back into this game.
Again, I think an absolute understatement, because if you look at the shooting percentage for the game, 72% for the Edge.
And Logan Stutz will defer on that, takes 2 points of his own. It's 102-88.
But again, this is not going to be easy at all to come back if you don't stop these shots. It's been an absolute turnstile down low.
And it's going to be a foul on the Express. Maurice Jones not happy about it, but that's the way the cookie crumbles here. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. Windsor Express playing for their season. A loss here, and they will end their 2017-2018 campaign. Interesting fun fact to note here, JP. The Windsor Express have never had a first-round exit. You age back to their first year in 2012-2013. They went to the limit against the Summerside Storm in 7 games. Of course, now the Island Storm. And then we all know the story 2 years after that, winning the championship. And we've seen in 2 years, the last 2 years, they have survived all the way to the Central Division Finals, only to fall to the London Lightning. They don't want to have another bit of history, an odious history, added to their franchise here.
I have to agree for sure. This is a team that doesn't want to be the team that wins loses for the first round in a first-round series, especially in the NBLC. So they got to find a way to get things together, specifically defense, specifically down low, whether it's trying to make them make free throws, or whether it's trying to double team players as they go inside, or whether it's forcing mistakes like that.
Charles Hinkle tried to tightrope the sideline, but he'll go out of bounds. 104-88 is the score, 56 seconds into the fourth quarter here. Chad Frazier trying to drive inside, gets double teamed. Here's Keith popping for the 3, drops the 3.
Yeah, and this is where they need it also on top of that defensive fixes, get the string of buckets together. They can't just go and feel like a sign of downward defeat. They got to rally on back. They've come back from deeper before, and now they're forcing turnovers.
Now here's the Windsor Express planning a comeback here. They're only within 13, 10:40 remaining. Waiting in the wings will be the winner of the London and Niagara series. Currently London up 2-1. They'll play game 4 on Friday at the Meridian Center. Getting the swing by is Keith. High archer, boy howdy, flat as day old soda. Ellison down the lane, back to his hot spot, and things continue to rise up for Wally World. Another 3 to his arsenal.
Yeah, I think right now this is just the point where everything's going to absolutely go in for him. But again, nice separation.
Separation for Frazier, knocks down the tray.
Yeah, just spun around the defender there. The defender stayed for the double team inside, and he noticed that, so ran right to the corner, right to one of his hot spots, able to just drain it on in.
Williams 1-on-1 against Jones. Here's Hinkle. Hinkle gets the fake on Keith. And right on open, the J spins in and out. And here's Jones on the charge. Frazier, real estate, nothing there. Reed on the rebound.
Now the chance to make a double-digit three-pointers made for the game, but not able to drill that. Gotta now be able to focus and compose yourself, because now Frazier is guarding Ellison on this one.
Hinkle gets it stripped by Maurice Jones. Easy 2.
And one of the top players for steals per game, able to get that steal and turnover. Just like that, going into a quick timeout. They are down by 11, the Express to the edge.
11-point game. We're coming back. All right, 11-point game here live from the WFCU Center. The Windsor Express playoffs is brought to you by Central Park Athletics. JP, everything's going real well for the Edge, more specifically Wally Ellison. The Windsor Express, they need to find something to put a seal on him immediately.
They got to right now, because he's been able to find enough separation to pull up for triples, and he's 6 for 6 from deep, 6 of 7 for the field overall. We have talked about his ability to be a hustle guy and a spark plug, especially here in the postseason. He's being exactly that off the bench with those 18 points. Got to find a way to seal him on up and quick, because he's the main reason, number one, this team now has 13 made triples in the ballgame.
For those of you who are just tuning in and experiencing video problems, we advise you to please reload your page. We had a couple of fans already tell us that they're having a problem getting the live stream. So once again, please re-upload your YouTube page so you can get the stream, and hopefully everything works out on your end. Anyhow, good peek pass inside. And once again, Desmond Lee on the board puts 2 more up for the Edge.
I have to agree with the head shake that Sefton Barrett had after that open play. Again, wide open inside like a turnstile. Lock it up, or else you are going to stay down.
Quick shot up, down on the fall, back down is Ellison. He gets the board. Skeet with the ball, he'll pass the timeline. 8:25 remaining from either game 4 or a potential series clincher. Ryan Reed inside once again. No answers right there. A mismatch for Braylon Rayson nonetheless, and it's 111-96. Logan Stutz taking care of business.
Yeah, that was a nice little alley-oop for the layup. getting the crowd a little bit more energized here, but again, need a big-time string of things here. Watch for this to come on back inside potentially, or to Ellenson.
Ellenson right away from his hot spot. Sefton Barrett one-on-one against English. Misses the three up front. Here comes Frazier. Frazier with the ball. Gets stopped in his tracks. The double team near the free throw line. Outside, Racing picks his spot. Knocks down the three.
They just left him wide open to challenge that one. But still, there's still a decent amount of time to come back. You're only down by just 10 here, Aaron. They are starting to drill those baskets and starting to get a bit of momentum offensively, the Express.
This is sort of reminiscent of game one. We'll see if it will have the same result. Lee from the parking lot, no good. And here comes Frazier, again the charge. And a quick foul by Jaron Skeet, and you know what? I don't mind that foul right there because Chad Frazier, boy howdy, he had some real estate down the lane.
Yes, he did, and then he held a second option too. Racing again was open on the outside corner in the same spot as the last bucket. So he noticed that, able to just draw the reach in, and now they reset.
Under 7 minutes to go. Maurice Jones have it up top. Right down to Stutz, loses his footing, and it's taken away. Grandy Glaze on the receiving end. Lee, Ellenson, up, blocked by Barrett. And I believe they're going to call a foul, and they will. Good effort from Barrett, but once again, a little too hard on the action.
Yeah, a little too hard. Ellenson took a hard fall, and his teammates all came down and rushing down to him. Yeah, Barrett might have a look of wondering with that foul, but that was an absolutely obvious defensive foul right there. Going to go to the line now to shoot to the edge to bring this potentially back to 12.
That will be an unsporting-like foul from Sefton Barrett. That will be his fourth. That's bad news for the Express, which means Wally Ellenson will be set to go to the line. Assistant coach Steve Marcus trying to get the situation here.
Yeah, and I think this might be a flagrant or something along those lines because he's left alone on his free throw line.
And it is. Once again, it's hard to stop Wally Ellison when he's already in the air. But again, if you try to defy that, you better do your best. As Wally Ellison knocks down 2 free throws, 113 to 101 now, with under 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. St. John's looking to sweep. Windsor Express looking to live another night. Skeet right on over. English looking over the Lee. Now Glaze right outside, and he goes in with the pass. Ellenson trying to drive, gets poked away. Jones trying to get it, Skeet, and now Jones have it right outside to Frazier. Frazier puts it up, blocked by Ellenson. Whoa, me oh my. Glaze, Lee. That's worth keeping in your bookmarks, folks. That's a top 10er.
Yeah. Absolutely huge hustle play there. Here's Lee.
Lee, open 3, no good. And it will be Express ball.
Going back to that big chase down block for a second. Before then, you seen him try and fist ball pump the ball to try and pass it on floor to keep that alive. Skeet tried to keep it alive. Then the Express went down the other way. He still then chased down with the hustle he had, and we got another whistle on the floor.
Good idea from Maurice Jones to get Grandy Glaze to bite the fake. He'll go off to shoot 2 more. Now, if the Windsor Express keep on doing this, they can cut this lead to single digits, but keep in mind they're running out of time.
Yeah, here's a slight bright side. Ellenson's going to go to the bench for a breather now, so they don't have to deal with him for at least the time being. Of course, though, they have the Henkel, Glaze, Lee, English line on to deal with along with Karan Williams, so basically your stars are back on in. Still got to chip away with as much as you can with a team like the Edge. Still shooting as much as they are from the field. Still 69.5% for the whole ball game.
Maurice Jones knocked down the 2 free throws, 10-point game, under 6 minutes. Williams gets the pick from Henkel, goes on the left side. Offensive foul. So Maurice Jones doing his job, staying man-to-man directly on Karan Williams. And Charles Hinkle a little bit too much on that pick. And a quick 2 by Maurice Jones.
Great drive inside, breaks into single digits. Now got to make sure you're ready on the defensive side. You forced an offensive foul the last time. What can you do this time?
Now here's English, one-on-one against Frazier. Glandy Glaze going to work. Good feed inside to English, counted and 1.
Bullet pass from Glaze there because he's seen the opportunity English had. Needed to get as hard as he could with the strength he has. And now English has a chance to complete a 3-point play, of course, this year's MVP.
Carl English, the MVP. No doubt about it. He's been stirring up wonders here in the NBLC as he completes the 3-point play OFW the old-fashioned way. That, once again, Chad Frazier with 4 fouls. Both clubs have 3 team fouls to their name. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Maurice Jones fires it. No good. We'll have a quick whistle. It appears to be off ball.
I believe that was with the rebounding attempts right there. Here comes Rayson, meanwhile, who has had a few big-time threes in this quarter. I think they're going to go a bit more smaller ball, having 2 guards along with Frazier maybe at that small forward spot. Keith and Stutz at the big man spots.
All right, now here is Rayson immediately on the call. Bell rings for Frazier as he fires a 3 and he misses it. Charles Hinkle on the board. And now under 5 minutes here in this one. English right on over the Williams. The Windsor Express have only won 1 home game against the St. John's Edge the entire season. The other 2 of those 3 wins were at the mile 1. Grandy Glaze inside. English loses control. Butterfingers, it'll go the other way.
Yeah, that play was definitely designed to try and get English back inside. That worked a few moments ago with the bullet pass from Glaze. But that time the pass just a little bit to the left side. Now it's Windsor ball.
Raylan Rayson outside, no good. On the pickup, Stutz, 3rd chance, no for Keith. 4th time, yes.
And great hustle to keep with the ball because some people might back out on the box out. Not that time. And now it's back again to a back-and-forth ball game.
Williams with the ball. He has the hot hand as well. Grandy Glaze right near the free throw line. 2 passes in. Hinkle gets the fake on Keith, fires a 3, and it spins in and out. Stutz with the rebound. Frazier with the ball. The Express trying to find answers after an edge explosion. Here is Keith. Gets it to Rayson. Rayson spins inside. The teardrop and the beauty.
Able to hop step his way through, drawing that timeout. And I think the momentum's starting to shift towards the home team's crowd here. Exactly what Windsor needed to have here with just a few minutes to go here in the 4th.
So JP, no lead is safe. We see the score 116 to 109. The Windsor Express, they've been going on a plethora of runs throughout this whole game. But you know what? There's a lot of ground to cover if they want to avenge their 3rd quarter, as the crowd's into it.
Yeah, the crowd is into it, and this is starting to go towards their way. And you can see they're starting to go for the trap.
The trap doesn't work out as well. We'll have a quick foul, and we hear a couple of boo birds down here under us. Yep, that's right. I know these kids by heart. I mean, I'm hearing Sammy, I'm hearing Jeffrey, I'm hearing everybody down there saying that wasn't a foul, but believe me, kids, it was.
It definitely was their textbook reach in on that as here comes English.
A steal. Maurice Jones will swallow it down.
No, not sure who he was trying to pass to there.
Frazier, the Keith. Keith trying to dribble inside of English, and that will be a foul. English not happy about it, but once again, admirable effort to take it.
I think that's a bit of a frustration foul there because I think he originally seen an opportunity on the outside, but then his intended target just decided to cut towards the middle port of the arc. So that, of course, set up for the easy steal for Jones as he's dropping it in.
Jones right outside. Here's Grayson. Pop-up three. Yes! Windsor.
Pardon me, beautiful stretching play on the floor as Jones, seen he had too much traffic, passed around outside, and again separates it. 4-point ball game.
Windsor Express playing with their lives. They have an insurmountable run they have. Under 3 minutes to go. English one-on-one against Maurice Jones. Fires it away, misses it, and Keith with the rebound. WFCU Center coming alive. Here's Rayson. Looking for daylight. Misses it. Frazier tried to slap it down, but Hinkle says nothing doing. He'll get the rebound himself.
Yeah, watch Glaze. He's trying to motion things around for the offense right now. And it looks like he's trying to set things up potentially for English.
English got the mismatch on Jones. He'll take advantage of it. Trying to look for the shot. Now Hinkle crossing over, driving inside. Running shot. Got it. Charles Hinkle with the good balance, and it gets the shot to go. Keith on the other end. Misses the shot. Quick foul. That's going to be on Hinkle.
Yeah, and a big-time foul there. And that is going to be foul number 6 and sends Keith back to the line. He's got to make sure he drills both of these here. He's had an 0 for 2 in this one so far. And I think that's the perfect time to mention the spark plug, the Kangaroo Kid, Wally Ellenson, will come back on in.
Ellenson back in. Shaq Keith. If he wants to bring the Express back into this one, these are the free throws to do it.
Yeah, he's going to come in for Hinkle here.
Nothing there.
Oh, that was a huge one here. You can see the disappointment. You got to take a deep breath and drill this one because if you miss both, chances get a whole lot harder.
They split the pair of free throws. It's now 118 to 113. 2 minutes remaining. And what could either be the Windsor Express's season or a Game 4. Skeet driving down the lane, puts it up and in. Jaron Skeet. Everybody's coming alive for the St. John's Edge, and now they have a 7-point cushion. Keith from the outside, no good, hits the top. Frazier driving right down, puts it up and no good. That's a bummer right there, and that's Heartbreak City if you're a part of the Windsor Express right now.
Yeah, but they can't give up here. They still have about 90 seconds to work with.
Skeet, they'll now milk the clock with 80 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Skeet over to English. English driving, falls away, got it! Carl English! With a little English of his own between two defenders, and now the St. John's Edge take a 9-point lead. We'll keep it right here. Now, we see Shaq Keith, he's pleading his case, but Carl English, he just got the better end of it. My goodness, St. John's Edge on the verge of a possible sweep.
Huge, huge moments here. They've been shooting the lights out all day. They stalled out a bit in this quarter. The Express had a rally, but of course, the Edge knew what to do basically, brought in the right personnel with this kind of a moment, bring back in Ellenson in part, and able to force Windsor to press when they got a few quick buckets. And now, 9-point ball game because of the big-time danker from your MVP and Canadian of the Year, Carl English.
Well, what more do you ask for from an MVP, a player of his caliber? Just going, just running. He knew he was losing balance at the sideline. He fires it away and gets the shot to go. Pretty reminiscent of what Larry Bird used to fire up, but that's neither here nor there. Now the Windsor Express, they really need to respond real well. Now, when Shaq Keith missed that free throw, you knew that was crucial, because if it went his way, the Windsor Express would still have a lot of pedal to the metal, and this could have been possibly a 5-point game.
It could have possibly been. You can tell with the disappointment from that, and I think that's when maybe a little bit of doubt crept on in, Aaron, because if you let doubt creep on in, that is when those kind of mistakes and missed shots and then allowing buckets end up happening, which now has led to this 9-point game. Got to see what Coach Jones told this team to get them back on track. About a minute 10 to go. They got to make sure they get everything to go in the kitchen sink on their offensive side to have a shot here.
They got 9 points to make out, 1:11 to go. Keith on the inbounds pass. Stucks one-on-one against Ellenson. Here's Jones, fires it away, and he misses it real short.
And that was an opportunity with a quick trigger. I think he went a little too quick with that. He knew they needed to get quick shots with the amount of time not being on their hands. That led to the air ball, and now the Edge have a chance to put in the final dagger.
Here we go, under a minute to go. 122 to 113. Skeet trying to look for an opening. And the St. John's Edge doing a good job as Skeets goes inside, reverse, no good. Here comes Keith on the attack. Keith racing down, easy two.
Yeah, they got 38 seconds, gotta go for the full court press, don't back off. And they are backing off. And
they'll let them pass half court as Hinkles will put the exclamation point there. The icing on the cake from Charles Hinkle makes it 124 to 115.
Yeah, this was a hard-fought game right here, and this is going to be a much-deserved victory for the Edge for this one, as this is going to be potentially a 7 to 9 point victory if how things turn out here.
Carl English, shot clock irrelevant, and they'll dribble it out. The St. John's Edge, they're on their way to win their first playoff series. And the Windsor Express, their season will come to an end. And that'll do it. Round of applause. And there goes the horn, and it's all over. The St. John's Edge win their first ever NBLC playoff series. They'll advance to the Central Division Finals in a 3-game sweep, winning it 124 to 117. And we'll let the crowd tell you the story for the next matter of moments.
Next presentation on behalf of myself and all our staff and volunteers. We would like to thank you for your great support all season long. We've had a great season.
Yep, we'll do it.
And we look forward to next year's run for the trophy. Until next year, let's go, Windsor!
JP, the quest for a third NBL Canada Championship comes to a close for the Windsor Express. They'll come back next year for another go at it, but the night and the series belongs to the St. John's Edge. Fantastic effort the whole 9 yards.
Fantastic effort the entire series, and especially tonight to cap this one off. You can tell with the happiness they have. They had to work hard with the physicality of this one, but man, oh man, much deserved for sure for the St. John's Edge with a tough series with the Express. The Express finish on a down note, but it's going to be about how they respond for next season to see what they do here from here on out.
Absolutely. Once again, final score 124 to 117. Edge take this series in 3. Don't go around anywhere, folks. We're going to come back, wrap things up with the Knockstrom postgame one more time from Windsor, Ontario after this timeout. All right, here we are, and this series comes to a final. The St. John's Edge pull through, and they'll advance to the Central Division Finals with the final score of 124 to 117. Aaron Sanders, JP, Justin Prince. JP, a fantastic effort. Wally Ellenson out of the gate, and then Carl English putting the icing on the cake to cap it all off.
Yeah, there's a reason multiple different players scored in the 20-plus range tonight at the very least. Big time, much needed performances here to cap things up for their series. Big time hustle from a guy like Ellenson that can be that spark plug for the rest of their postseason here. It was definitely a challenging one with the physicality of this whole series here, but this was a much-deserved run here. They get the sweep, of course, but of course, you got to remember the Express. They didn't lose three games to nothing without trying.
No, absolutely. The Windsor Express, they did all they can. I mean, when it comes to this situation, there were some problems down the way, but you know what? If you have to accentuate the positives, once again, the effort. I don't know how many runs they went on this evening, but it was one of the main reasons this loss right here was just only 7.
Yeah, I counted internally about 6 or 7 runs basically the Express went on. Most of be, of course, the one at the end of the first quarter. But basically, when you allow as much shooting that the Edge had today in terms of offense on the inside, in terms of how they were able to drive in, cut in, it was absolutely too much, I think, to tame really, because they didn't want to get into foul situations, so they backed on off. But again, this was an absolutely thrilling series from start to finish, absolutely thrilling game. Express almost was able to come back into this one and tie it up potentially. Came to as close as 5 to 6 points in the final couple minutes. But again, a little too much to try and overcome with the amount of points scored with 124 for the Edge.
Well, the 2017-2018 campaign ends for the Windsor Express, but as for the St. John's Edge, a lot of high hopes for them as they move on to a best-of-7 series. Final thoughts about this Windsor Express season of 2017-2018.
It was definitely a year of runs to start things off because, of course, at the start of the year, I don't think either of us thought they would get to at least, for the very least, the seed they're in because they were playing about 500 ball. One night they were looking okay. One night they fell off. Like at the start of the year, they were slow for some of the quarters they had, for example, coming out of the locker room, for example. Then they flipped the switch basically once they brought in Omar Strawn, Sefton Barrett, and Kevin Loisel, where they became the difference makers for February to mid-March to get their wins built on up. That really changed how they played, how they were succeeding on their offense and defense, and really became the team to watch by the end of February. But again, you got to remember, they finished off the season on a losing streak. They stumbled into the postseason. They were struggling with injuries for a few different players. And that had somewhat of a factor for sure in this series. But in the end, it was a year of runs. In the end, the Express, not the benefactors of the run to end off their year, but a hard-fought playoff run regardless, even if this finishes off in just 3 games.
Well, you know what? Maybe the end of the run for the Windsor Express, but it's not going to be the end of the road for us, JP, because we're going back right down to London for the Central Division Finals. If London pulls it off against Niagara, Game 4 is on Friday. Anything could go in that series, so hopefully we're down the road in London for the Central Division Finals. If not, then you want all the best to the Edge and all the best to all the other teams in the NBLC. It's been an interesting season, especially down the Central Division. I mean, St. John's Edge, first-year team. Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it? But this fan base has been absolutely growing from day one of this franchise. Their team, they put together the right people. They brought in the right coaching staff, I think, to have this together. They have one of the top-notch social media teams, one of the top-notch broadcast teams, I think, in the league right now. They went and swung for the fences, and they connected for a Grand Slam, I guess you can say. They move on to the Central Division Finals. Whoever they take on, whether it's London or Niagara, they're going to have an absolute challenge on their hands, I think. It could potentially go all the way to the distance if you have it for against London and St. John's. I have to say that for sure, because that, I think, is a dream matchup in some people's heads to see what happens in the Central Division Finals if it gets to that matchup.
Well, it's going to be interesting. So, folks, if London advances to the Central Division Finals, we'll see you right down at Budweiser Gardens. Knockstrom TV will have the coverage for it, but that's if need be. We'll have to see how Game 4 plays out. But once again, the final score, St. John's Edge. They advance, punch their ticket to the Central Division Finals, 124 to 117. You know, this has been an interesting season. Now, Windsor fans, I know you're thinking, I know you have your heads down, you might be dejected from this season, but you know what? Fear not. We may not have the championship this year, but best believe there's going to be a silver lining. They'll come back next year all guns a-blazing, and who knows? You know what? We had a lot of surprises this season, especially when we have a good caliber team. Shaq Keith, Logan Stutz, and Maurice Jones returning, along with supporting casts like veterans Kevin Loisel, Eric Parker. And then you add big dog Mike Lucier, Omar Strong, Sefton Barrett, all those other guys. They are indicative of what the Windsor Express is all about, the community and all their stuff. So my plea to you before we sign off is support the Windsor Express. Even this off season, you know what? If you see one of your favorite players, if you see anybody in the organization that represents this 519 Warrior squad, say hi to them and tell them, you know what, thank you for a terrific season. It may not have rolled the ball in your way this season, but best believe there will always be next season. And I'll cut this real short and I'll tell you this. JP, a pleasure once again. Year number 3 in the books for Windsor, but of course, you know what, we're going to see a lot of each other down the road. So folks, we're not going away in Windsor. You'll see us down the road as well. So job well done in the 519.
Job well done to you as well. This has definitely been an interesting year for sure. Can't wait to see what happens with the next one. And again, listen to Aaron's advice. Probably the best advice I probably heard to end off a broadcast for sure by far. Definitely best to hear if you're a fan or a player or anyone who follows the NBLC at all or any level really.
Well, absolutely. Us broadcasters, you know what? It's been a thrill and a pleasure to see these guys, you know, progress the way they are. Of course, they had a slow start at the beginning of the season, but right out of the woodworks in the second half, they blossom up. But again, they don't go further in the NBLC playoffs this year, but you know what? High hopes for next year. But as for that, folks, if London advances, we will see you at Budweiser Gardens. If not, once again, a thrill and an honor to serve you here on this Knockstrom TV family. A big thanks to Izzy G, our camera lady, the whole year. You know what? She has been there almost every game, and she is basically one of the main reasons why the Windsor Express have been getting good looks. But, of course, enough about Logan Stutz's haircut around the way. But, you know, that just spiked up to my attention. But, anyhow, that's how we end this on a positive note. We thank you once again, and we hope to see each other down the road. And, folks, fans everywhere, please stay in touch with us because, you know what, we would not be here without your support. NBLC would not be here without your support, and that will do it. Once again, 124-117, the final here at the WFCU Center. Thank you all for watching. Another season of Windsor Express basketball here on Knockstrom TV is in the books. As for us, we'll see you down the road. This has been a presentation of Knockstrom Digital Media, producing the media excellence in Southern Ontario. Until next time, like I always say, for JP, Justin Prince, for the entire Windsor Express organization, this be Aaron Sanders saying thank you so much. We'll see you down the road, and so long from the Rose City.